I'm going to be going over the most valuable player from each Pacific Division team. Starting out at the bottom of the division, we have the Anaheim Ducks, and I've picked Troy Terry. Now, you could pick Trevor Zegras. They were fairly close in terms of points, but when I looked at the advanced statistics, it seems like Troy Terry is better at things like penalty differential, so how many penalties he takes versus how many penalties he draws. He also was one of two Ducks players on the ice for more goals for than goals against, which Trevor Zegras was not one of those two. The other one was Mason McTavish. So that's why I picked Troy Terry, but honorable mention to Trevor Zegras. Next up, from the San Jose Sharks, we have Erik Karlsson. Erik Karlsson became the first defenseman to hit 100 points since 1992 when Brian Leetch did it. There wasn't really anybody else who's left on the San Jose Sharks that was anywhere close to his point production, and he did it from the back end. Obviously, they traded Timo Meier at the trade deadline, but even if he was still there, it's pretty clear that Erik Karlsson was the MVP of this team. Next up, on the Vancouver Canucks, we have Elias Pettersson. Again, this is one of those no-brainer picks. He hit over 100 points this season. I feel like everybody knew he was good, but I don't know if I ever really expected him to hit 100 points. So he's really broken out as an offensive superstar. And he was also great on the defensive side of play this year. He wasn't nominated for the Selke, but I'm sure he got a lot of votes. On the Calgary Flames, we have Tyler Toffoli. With guys like Elias Lindholm having a down year and Huberdeau obviously not living up to expectations, it almost felt like Tyler Toffoli was the only one who really wanted to make the playoffs on the Calgary Flames down the stretch when they still had a chance. So, yeah, I feel like this was, again, one of those pretty easy picks. Tyler Toffoli had career best in goals, assists, and points. Just an outstanding season from him. For the Seattle Kraken, I went with Jared McCann. In terms of their forwards, there was a lot of scoring going around all throughout the lineup. The only guy who consistently was scoring a lot was Jared McCann, getting them 40 goals, which is just an unreal year. You could also argue for Vince Dunn. I think he added a lot of stability to their offense and obviously was a great quarterback for that top power play, emerging as a number one defenseman in this league. If you pick Vince Dunn over Jared McCann, I wouldn't really argue with you. But in my opinion, 40 goals on this team is amazing. So I had to go with Jared McCann. Next up, we have the LA Kings. I went with Phoenix Copley. I mainly went with him over Andre Kopitar and Kevin Fiala, who I have as like two honorable mentions. Obviously Kevin Fiala adding a lot to the offense for the LA Kings this year. They really exploded offensively. Andre Kopitar bringing an amazing two-way game, as you can usually expect from him. The reason I went with Phoenix Copley is because before he was recalled from the AHL, the LA Kings were getting abysmal goaltending from Jonathan Quick and Cal Peterson, who just could not hold on to leads to save their lives. And I think, once you bring up Phoenix Copley, you look at his stats, they weren't that great. I think he was barely over 900 save percentage for the season and probably around 3 goals against average. But the LA Kings were a really good team, and just getting around average goaltending was enough to propel them into, look at his record, 24-6-3. He got 24 wins in 33 starts. He completely turned the season around. So I think that's probably my most controversial pick on this list, but it is, I think he single-handedly saved the LA Kings season. So next up, from the Edmonton Oilers, we have the biggest no-brainer on this list, and that is Connor McDavid. Obviously, scoring over 150 points. I believe it's the first time anybody's done that since like 1996 when Lemieux and Yager were terrorizing the league. 64 goals. Like this guy just had an amazing season. He's had amazing seasons in the past, and this was his best yet. There's no bigger slam dunk pick for the MVP, and he's probably going to win the MVP of the season for the NHL as a whole unanimously this year. So yeah, Connor McDavid's obviously the MVP of the Oilers. Finally, from the Vegas Golden Knights, we have Alex Pietrangelo. I strongly consider Jack Eichel here. I give him an honorable mention. But the reason I went with Alex Pietrangelo is the Vegas Golden Knights system, their defensive system, was so solid this year to the point where I'm pretty sure there was 4 games in a row where they won with 4 different goalies in each of those games. So having someone like Alex Pietrangelo on that team, I feel like really stabilizes their defense. And he's also able to contribute offensively. As you can see, 54 points ties a career high for him. Alex Pietrangelo had a great season, even if he missed a little bit of time at one point in the season. I think the Vegas Golden Knights defense looks completely different without him on the back end. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know if you have any different picks for the Pacific Division MVPs, and I will be creating a video on the other 3 divisions very soon. See you guys next time.